Way. Next report, 5:45 with more traffic reports. More often, I'm Denise Fondo, KNX 1070 News Radio.
Next few days, a little bit of a warm-up, so more 70s out there, a lot of 60s today. Then looks like we'll be even warmer as we go into next week. 5-day forecast, 5:45, 68 downtown LA, 60 Santa Ana, Riverside, 62 degrees.
It's 5:37. A surge in violent daytime street robberies along Trendy Melrose Avenue has business owners and customers on alert. The mood and attitude on Melrose has gone from friendly and accepting to wary in just the last 2 months.
Just around the corner from Dominic DeLuca's skateboard and fashion shop, Brooklyn Projects, a customer was assaulted and beaten by two men armed with a pistol who stole his Rolex, chains, and wallet before driving off in less than 20 seconds. One of 7 armed robberies of that type in the last 2 weeks here. DeLuca, who's been in business 20 years, says he's seen and heard about the change in attitude on the street from his customers, some of whom are street gang members.
One kid put it, it's like a kid in a candy store. It's like the doors are open and then do what you want, because there is nobody's telling you don't take the candy. Just go ahead. Just don't hurt anybody.
Other merchants blame a perception that with DA George Gascon's implementing a relaxed policy on prosecution and a reluctance by police to aggressively deal with shoplifters and other low-level criminals, Melrose is becoming a place where people are not as much keeping their eyes on the merchandise as looking over their shoulders. On Melrose Avenue, Pete Demetrio, KNX 1070 News Radio.
Silicon Valley tech executive Peter Diamandis says he's humbled, he's pained. He set up an indoor conference in his Culver City offices, said the 80 or so employees and guests who attended would be in a COVID immunity bubble, despite being warned against it. Turns out it was a super spreader event for the guests, some of whom paid $30,000 to go. Even he tested positive. All those who attended were required to take a test before going to the event in January. He says that may have lulled everybody into a false sense of security. Didn't make it mandatory for mask wearing at all times. Says at least 32 of the guests or their family members were diagnosed with the coronavirus. He admits that number is probably low.
There will be no mass release of people currently behind bars in Orange County. It's a victory for the sheriff there, but it could change if there's another coronavirus surge.
Last December, the ACLU sued, alleging Orange County jail inmates were being deprived of social distancing amidst this pandemic. The judge at the time ordered the release of 1,800 inmates, about 50% of the Orange County jail population. The Orange County sheriff appealed, saying it'd create a risk to the community. Now, that same judge has ruled the jail population has been reduced, largely because of resolved cases, inmates being released, and the sheriff, he says, has significantly changed the way inmates are housed. So for now, the judge has abandoned his previous order, all sides returning to his courtroom March 26th to update him on any possible changes that are new threats to Orange County's inmate health. Craig Figner, KNX 1070 News Radio.
We saw what Senator Mitch McConnell said about the president after the impeachment trial was over. Today, the president, former president, releasing a statement calling McConnell a dour, sullen, unsmiling political hack. So this relationship is not a good one. Political analyst Larry Sabato says Mr. Trump will remain a thorn in the side of Republicans, and they have nobody to blame but themselves by finding him not guilty.
You have to say Trump has just gone beyond the pale. He blames everything on Mitch McConnell, absolutely everything. For example, the loss of the 2 Georgia Senate seats. Just about everybody who's objective would say that was due to Donald Trump more than any other single person.
Former presidents went on to say that if Republicans continue to follow Senator McConnell, they will never win again.
And checking the roads at 5:45, and there's a chase on the 10 in L.A. We'll have an update on that coming up at 5:45. That's in less than 4 minutes. It's 5:41.
Small business owners don't have the patience for nonsense, especially when it comes to their internet provider. They want the best services for the best price. Simply put, that's Spectrum Business. They give you great value, zero nonsense. Just call 855-872-5588. You'll get fast, reliable internet and phone with no contracts and no hidden fees, all for a price that could cut your bill in half. Spectrum Business. Call today, 855-872-5588.
Hey, it's Megan Trainor for Profile by Sanford. Life's really full these days with rehearsing, performing, writing music, and balancing family. I need a nutrition plan that's easy to follow. I need one-on-one nutrition coaching. With nearly 200,000 members nationwide, Profile is transforming lives with one-on-one nutrition coaching and customized plans. Profile has a plan for me, and Profile has a plan for you. Doctor-developed and science-backed. Find your plan at profileplan.com today.
AMCO presents Bet You Didn't Know. Bet you didn't know that your car's transmission is made up of 800 pieces. Also, bet you didn't know that AMCO's fixed over 40 million transmissions and that AMCO offers a nationwide warranty.
Are you still driving around with that check engine light on? AMCO will read and report the trouble codes on your vehicle for free. Call them today.
That's AMCO, AA, MCO.
The IRS doesn't mess around. If they want your money, they'll take it. They can take your paycheck and bank accounts too, even threaten your home or business. Don't take on the IRS alone. If you owe back taxes, the smartest thing you can do is call Optima Tax Relief. The experts at Optima specialize in a powerful IRS tax assistance program called the Fresh Start Initiative. And their clients that qualify are saving thousands, even tens of thousands. One call starts the process to stop the demand letters, stop aggressive collection actions, and stop the IRS from targeting you. But don't delay. It's important to act now while you still have options. Optima is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. Optima has already resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Get your life back. For tax help you need, for tax help you can trust, call Optima now for your free consultation.
Call 800-730-2885. 800-730-2885. 800-730-2885.
Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
So again, this pursuit, quick update, then we'll have traffic at 5:45. It's a white van stolen, they're saying, westbound National in Palms. Pretty wild driving, cutting corners, swerving around cars. Just be on the lookout if you're in that area, and traffic coming up just a few minutes away.
Earn up to $20 an hour. Pizza Hut is hiring for all positions: managers, drivers, cooks, customer service representatives, and more. Full and part-time positions available. Apply now at jobs.pizzahut.com. That's jobs.pizzahut.com.
At Children's Cancer Research Fund, we believe a world without childhood cancer is possible. But it takes all of us. And whether it's developing a groundbreaking treatment or helping a girl realize her dream, everyone has a role in a child's cancer journey. Just ask researcher Brandon Moriarty about his latest breakthrough, a genetic biomarker treatment.
Children's Cancer Research Fund is a great organization. They provide funding to really dig deep into the research and make more progress. We were able to start a clinical trial that's led by Emily Greengard.
The hope is that these types of therapies are going to be more effective and a lot better tolerated, a lot more safe for the patients.
People ask me how I keep a smile on my face. It's easy when you have so many great people that take care of you and support you.
To find out how you can be a part of the child's cancer journey and a part of the cure, visit childrenscancer.org, a public service message from Children's Cancer Research Fund.
Around the clock, the News Watch never stops.
Southern California's only 24-hour local news and traffic station.
KNX 1070 News Radio. Depend on us.
5:44. I'm Mike Simpson.
And I'm Karen Adams. Coming up,
pursuit of stolen van in the Palms area.
I'm Bloomberg's Mona Rivera. An investment bank for the wealthy is reaching out to the masses. That story is coming up in 5 minutes.
The decision to open a school gets made by that school community.
Wondering when your kid might get to return to campus? I'm Claudia Pescuto with the latest.
That's all in the next 15 minutes. 5:45 now. Traffic every 10 minutes on the fives. Brought to you by Caliber Garage Doors. Here's Denise Fondo.
A little more on our pursuit that's happening right now in the Palms area. This is off of National. It's a white van at high speeds, and again, off National on the surface streets in that area at high rates of speed. And again, a stolen van, again, according to law enforcement. So we've got a pursuit happening right now on the surface streets in Palms. So heads up, be very careful through there. We're going to head to Scott. He's got an update on the drive through the Newhall Pass, Southern California Toyota dealers 5 Jam Cam.
Well, we had reports of a car fire, a box truck on fire, northbound side of the 5 connector to the northbound 14. So watch out for some activity on that transition road. Once you get onto the northbound 14, a tough ride, basically off the 5. Heading up through about Sand Canyon, that north 5 is going to be pretty sluggish to Selmar, and that north 405, a tough one from the 118 up to the 5. 60 Chino with Brian.
Still dealing with a big rig crash here, right lane block. This is our eastbound side right before Ramona. A couple cars involved as well. So a lot of activity, and the backup now starts basically at Phillips Ranch. Watch out for your eastbound delays. Once you're past Ramona, your speeds will improve. Denise.
Make Caliber Garage Doors your number one choice for new garage doors. Right now, $200 off and as low as $499 installed, including free bottom seals and haul away. Caliber Garage Doors will beat any advertised price. Hundreds to choose from at CaliberGarageDoors.com, CaliberGarageDoors.com. Next report at 5:55 with more traffic reports. More often, I'm Denise Fondo, KNX 1070 News Radio.
Our warming trend will kick into high gear as we head into the second half of the week as a ridge of high pressure builds in towards Southern California. That's going to mean warmer, drier with offshore winds. And then the breezes start to pick up, especially for the mountains and our foothill communities. By the time we head into the weekend, Saturday will be slightly cooler as a trough moves to the north of us, but then we start to warm right back up again, even warmer as we head into the end of the weekend, Sunday stretching all the way till the middle of next week. We're talking 70s and 80s by the time we head into Monday and Tuesday of next week. With Southern California's most accurate and dependable forecast, I'm CBS 2 meteorologist Amber Lee for KNX 1070 News Radio.
Temperatures 68 downtown LA, 59 Redondo Beach, Santa Ana 60.
It's 5:47. The LAPD has not yet identified the officer who allegedly shared a racist post of George Floyd on social media.
Chief Michael Moore told reporters during a virtual briefing the investigation is still in its infancy.
So I think we're very, very early in this. My effort is to come to terms quickly, but also in a manner that is reflective of a thorough and complete investigation.
The meme is a pink-colored mock Valentine card with a photo of Floyd that reads, "You take my breath away." Moore said there are no physical copies in any of the police stations, and now investigators are retracing the online post, which was reportedly shared in a private social media group.
And we'll go back to try to trace down who actually started this, who's patient zero, so to speak. And my efforts is, if it's a member of the Los Angeles Police Department, is to take disciplinary action. I have no temperament or patience or allowance for them to remain in this organization with such a tendency or such a racist act.
Moore said they still don't know how many others with the LAPD, if any, may have shared or liked the post. Emily Valdez, KNX 1070 News Radio.
Our pursuit back on freeway now. She was on Sepulveda, now back on the 405. Looks like northbound. We'll have updates for you right here. 5:49. More cases of what's being called multi-system inflammatory syndrome. This is on Miss C. They're being seen in children who've had even some mild cases of COVID.
Not only more cases, but more cases of children who get very sick.
We have heard recent reports out of both LA and Washington, D.C., where pediatricians and pediatric infectious disease doctors and critical care doctors are reporting that they're seeing an increase in Miss C cases.
Dr. Jennifer Schuster with Children's Mercy Hospital in Kansas City.
We don't know if the variants are playing a role in the change.
Fact. 3 billion of us worldwide depend on seafood as a key source of protein. And yet, overfishing is the #1 threat to our ocean. Sorry, 3 billion people. How about switching your fish night to something sustainable? Try Good Catch Foods for 100% plant-based seafood that is truly off the hook. Saving the ocean feels good, and the taste, delicious. Go to goodcatchfoods.com to learn more, or shop online.
Amor, ¿quieres que pase por Aldi?
Ya fui yo y traje todo para hacer una carne asada. La carne se ve muy buena y bien barata. ¡Mamá! ¡Ay, me toca ser la maestra! ¡Chao!
Porque eres más que una mamá, mereces más de tu supermercado. Por eso en Aldi tenemos la gran calidad que mereces a los precios bajos que buscas. Tenemos carne certificada por la USDA y cada día nos llega una gran selección de cortes. Para productos de calidad a precios bajos todos los días, ven primero a Aldi.
My mother was very familiar with her neighborhood, but one day she stopped at the stop sign and she wasn't even really sure where she was at.
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now is the time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Now more than ever, everything can change in a heartbeat.
Breaking news from Simi Valley.
We'll have more on that at the bottom of the hour.
Get up to date every time you turn us on.
Reporting live from Alhambra.
Reporting live from Huntington Park.
Southern California's only 24-hour local news and traffic station.
KNX 1070 News Radio. Depend on us.
Small business owners don't have the patience for nonsense, especially when it comes to their internet provider. They want the best services for the best price. Simply put, that's Spectrum Business. They give you great value, zero nonsense. Just call 855-872-5588. You'll get fast, reliable internet and phone with no contracts and no hidden fees, all for a price that could cut your bill in half. Spectrum Business. Call today, 855-872-5588.
Enjoy a smoother morning, a sweeter afternoon, and a cozier evening. McDonald's has lattes, mochas, and macchiatos made with rich, roasted McCafe espresso beans, sweet whipped topping, and frothy steamed milk, drizzled with chocolate, caramel, hazelnut, or French vanilla flavors. It's decadence in a coffee cup. So head to McDonald's for your espresso treat. A small is just $2. McCafe. Good is brewing. Price and participation may vary.
We're going to get another update on the pursuit of a stolen van when we check the roads in 2 minutes. Right now, the white van is on Sunset Boulevard. Now it's just turning around there in Westwood. It's coming up in 3 minutes. It's 5:52.
Writers Guild's announcing the films nominated for the Writers Guild Awards. Judas and the Black Messiah, one of the films nominated in the original screenplay category.
The Black Panthers are the single greatest threat to our national security.
Get close to Hampton.
The Black Panthers are forming a rainbow coalition of oppressed brothers and sisters of every color.
Neutralize him by any means necessary.
Its category competition, Palm Springs, Promising Young Woman, Sound of Metal, Trial of the Chicago 7 by Aaron Sorkin, who also directed that film. Best Adapted Screenplay nominees, Borat, the subsequent movie film, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, News of the World, One Night in Miami, White Tiger. Writers Guild announced its TV nominations earlier this month. The awards will be handed out virtually March 21st.
NASA scientists at JPL say they're excited and nervous about the rover Perseverance that's scheduled to land on Mars on Thursday.
I can tell you that Perseverance is operating perfectly right now, that all systems are go for landing.
That's Jennifer Trosper, Perseverance Deputy Project Manager at JPL. Scientists have to guide the rover down to the surface of the red planet, which is a major challenge because it's arriving at 12,000 miles an hour. Perseverance was launched in July. It'll search for signs of ancient microbial life and will collect rock and dust samples to take back to Earth. It'll also test technologies that someday could be used on Mars by astronauts, including a system for converting atmospheric carbon dioxide to oxygen. This is NASA's 5th Mars rover.
Pursuit still on Sunset, update a minute away in traffic. An Olympic gold medalist is on the wrong side of the law, on the other side of the world.
Former Olympic swimmer Scott Miller is charged with drug trafficking after Australian police seized methamphetamine valued at $2 million Australian dollars and accused him of hiding it in candles. Police say the 45-year-old was the director of a criminal syndicate. They say they also found heroin with a street value of $250,000, cash, cell phones, and encrypted electronic devices. Miller won a silver medal in the 100-meter butterfly at the Atlanta Olympics in 1996. The following year, he won a world championship gold medal in Rio de Janeiro. Matt Piper, CBS News.
Schools in L.A. County can start bringing young kids back to the classroom, but in L.A. Unified, it may not happen right away. More at 6:03 after CBS News is 5:55.
Traffic now and our pursuits brought to you by iAccident Lawyers. Here's Denise Fondo.
That pursuit now in the Westwood area on Sunset Boulevard, westbound near UCLA. Let's go right to Brian Douglas.
This is a stolen white van now on Sunset. Just made the turn to southbound Beverly Glen here. And if you know this area, you can have a lot of traffic, especially at these side streets. And this van is traveling at high speeds. Again, we picked this up on the 10 and the 405. And again, it's heading southbound on Beverly Glen. So the next big intersection will be Wilshire Boulevard. If you're in that area, keep an eye out, again, for this high-speed chase. This person in the van, up to 3 people were in this van. Could be a big problem here as it comes up again. South Beverly Glen, headed to Wilshire Boulevard. Denise?
And at this time of the day, Beverly Glen is usually very busy leading up and away from Wilshire Boulevard. And right now, this driver looks like he is running into some very heavy traffic and going into the oncoming traffic lane. So please, heads up, be careful through there. We're at Beverly Glen and Comstock right now. with this white van, stolen white van. On the 55, if you're headed north, just south of Lincoln, we've got a new problem reported here, and it looks like this is a stalled car in lanes, and CHP's on the way to that one. Let's check in with Scott, Southern California Toyota dealers, Jam Cam.
We do have a crash on the 605 southbound at Telegraph heading into Santa Fe Springs, a crash off to the right shoulder. That's a pretty tough ride, basically starting right and around Rose Hills Road as you work your way down toward the 5. Toughest on the northbound side from the 105 to the 5, and then some reduced speeds as you head up to the Whittier area. With the Jam Cam, over to Brian.
Well, we were covering this chase. Now, this chase is Wilshire Boulevard, and it is heading eastbound, heading into the Beverly Hills area. And so we're going to keep an eye on this. So, again, Wilshire Boulevard heading towards the Beverly Hills area, and he's just made a turn onto a side street here. Looks like this is right before the golf course. Again, we will keep an eye on this for you. Denise.
iAccidentLawyer.com caution, there's a lot of false information out there, and not all lawyers have their amazing results, so be smart and hire a multi-million-dollar winning firm. Go to iAccidentLawyer.com. Next report, 6:05 with more traffic reports more often. I'm Denise Fondo, KNX 1070 News Radio.
We'll have updates on that pursuit. Weather's a little bit warmer as we go in the next few days. 5:57.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids.
Donate your car today with 1-877 Cars for Kids. We're a recognized 501c3 charity organization, so you'll receive a maximum tax deduction. What's more, you'll receive a vacation voucher of 3 days and 2 nights. Also on the web at carsforkids.com.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Remember, that's cars with a K.
Have you still not refinanced your mortgage? Well, soon you might be kicking yourself in the head. Rates are at historic lows. At the same time, home values have gone up roughly 50% in the last several years. Maybe it's time to put that equity to work by paying off high-rate credit cards, personal loans, or remodel your house. Hi, I'm Wesley Hoagland with Westland Financial. Let us put you in a position to do any of these things with no closing costs. That's right. Nothing's rolled into your loan, whether it's conventional, FHA, or VA, will pay your title, settlement, lender, and recording fees. Maybe you just want to lock in a lower rate or refinance out of paying mortgage insurance. All it takes is a 5-minute phone call to see how we can save you thousands of dollars a year. So call Westland at 888-455-3669. It's the biggest no-brainer in the history of mankind. Call us at 888-455-3669. 888-455-3669. That's 888-455-3669.
Westland Financial Corp is licensed as an Arizona mortgage banker. Number BK0909316. NMLS 3304. Not all loans apply. Equal housing lender.
As an online student at Arizona State University, you can take a journalism class with a Pulitzer Prize-winning author, study engineering with a Nobel laureate, and do a virtual lab with a MacArthur Fellow. In any of our 200-plus programs, you'll learn from the same world-renowned faculty and earn the same degree as on-campus students, while receiving personalized support to empower your success. Learn how to advance your professional path at asuonline.asu.edu.
Live from the IntelliLone PowerSmart Studios,
Southern California's only 24-hour local news and traffic station.
KNX KRTH-FM HD2 Los Angeles.
KNX 1070 News Radio.
Depend on us.
Was on Santa Monica, now back on Sepulveda. High-speed chase in West L.A.
Melrose Avenue has been hit by a string of armed street robberies.
L.A. County elementary schools, they get the go-ahead to bring kids back to classrooms. CBS News now. It's 6 o'clock.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Dell Small Business.
I'm Matt Piper in New York. That is a snowblower in Chicago, but they could really use them in the deep south. Except places like Texas, where millions are without power, are not used to wet, cold, and snowy weather like they're still getting.
It's another day of trying to survive the winter blitz.
This is truly a storm of a century.
Fort Worth Mayor Betsy Price is like everyone else.
It's cold.
In Texas and in many other states, record low temperatures continue. Millions without electricity. This man in Grand Prairie.
We're trying to keep warm. That's the whole thing, and keep alive.
Power grids are overwhelmed with too much demand. David Kimmel with Oklahoma Gas and Electric.
We do have a significant number of customers that are out all across the service territory.
And this cold snap is far from over. Steve Futterman, CBS News.
At least 17 people have died from weather-related incidents across 5 states. And the snow is not the only issue.
I'm Jesse Mitchell in Brunswick County, North Carolina, where a deadly tornado touched down in darkness.
Tornado is confirmed on the ground,
killing 3 people and injuring at least 10. The powerful twister tore through this coastal community.
We got numerous people confirming we got people trapped in structures.
Ripping homes from their foundations, snapping trees, and pulling down power lines.
Congress is preparing to create a commission to investigate the January 6th assault on the Capitol. Correspondent Nancy Cordes says the goal is to shed light the way the 9/11 Commission shed light on the September 11th attacks.
The aim of this commission is that it would be independent, not just bipartisan, but really devoid of politics altogether, because the goal of the commission would not be any kind of political outcome. It would be to get to the roots of how this insurrection came to be on January 6th and what can be done to prevent it from ever happening again.
The White House says even more vaccines are heading out to states that need it. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki says with the latest increase in shipments, weekly availability is up 57% since President Biden took office.
We're increasing the vaccine supply to 13.5 million doses per week that will go out to states.
Ariel Young, a 5-year-old girl who was injured in a car crash involving then Kansas City Chiefs assistant coach Britt Reed, has emerged from her coma. That according to a GoFundMe page that was providing updates on the child's condition. She was critically injured in the collision days before the Super Bowl. On Wall Street on this Tuesday, the Dow gained 64, the Nasdaq lost 48. This is CBS News.
The Dell President's Day sale for business is on, with up to 50% off PCs powered by Intel Core processors. Call 877-ASK-DELL for a Dell Technologies advisor. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
This is Southern California's only 24-hour local news and traffic station, KNX 1070 News Radio. I'm Mike Simpson.
And I'm Karen Adams. Our top local story at 6:03. It's a chase. We've been telling you about it. We've been warning you about it. Someone trying to get away from the police in a white van, and he's all over the place. Brian Douglas has our update.
He is now off of Barrington. So coming up Barrington to Palms, he's in this neighborhood. I know this very well. This is the Mar Vista neighborhood. What this person's doing in this van is using these surface streets, trying to, we think, get away from police, which is virtually impossible with the helicopter overhead. Now, this was reported as a stolen van, a white van. We've got the driver, obviously, and up to maybe 2 other people in the van. The original one was for a stolen vehicle. We picked this up on the 405, and this person in this van has made his way through Westwood, Century City, Culver City, and again, now in the Mar Vista area, traveling at high speeds on a lot of these side streets, right about now where a lot of folks are out walking after their day of work and school. So very dangerous pursuit. Again, in the Mar Vista area, coming up onto Venice Boulevard now, right off McLaughlin. So if you're in this area, keep an eye out. We will keep an eye out as well. And, you know, Mike and Karen, I was just looking. I saw a shot from up above, a little further out, and not too many police vehicles behind this person. I think that's what they were doing. They wanted to pull these vehicles away because this person was driving so recklessly to kind of calm him down. And we know it's a him from the close-up we just saw of this driver. Again, now driving in the alleyway not far off Venice Boulevard, near, this would be Inglewood Boulevard.
Well, I was going to say to that point, I mean, usually when they pull away and it turns into a following, right, it's got the helicopter and they got the light on him, but they slow down a lot of the time, and that's the whole point because you get the cruisers off the bat. But this guy has not, especially when he opens it up on Santa Monica or Sepulveda. He's been going really, really fast.
Yeah, he's going really fast, and I'm sure if he looks up, not only does he see the LAPD chopper above him, he also sees the TV helicopters above him. And it's stuff like this. The adrenaline's going, and it does not look like this person's going to stop. And this is what worries me. It worries all of us. Again, driving at high rates on these surface streets.
Yes, and it appears they do have those lights on them now.
Absolutely. He's on Mountain Avenue. Again, we're in the Mar Vista area near Venice Boulevard, Washington Place. So this is going to be west of the 405. And at times it looks like he's trying to make his way back to the freeway. So that's the latest. We'll keep an eye on this for you.
All right. Thank you, Brian. Yes, that's a pursuit. Updates right here on KNX. Let's get traffic now. And then after that, crime, more of it on Melrose. Merchants concerned. Let's go to Denise Fondo with our traffic report.
We've got a new problem reported on the 5, and this is on the southbound side. Right at Rosecrans, it looks like we've got a fire that is just off the freeway, and it's going to be the Santa Fe Springs Fire Department that arrives on scene with this one. On the 110, we've got a new crash reported, 110 northbound. This is just past Manchester in South LA. Right shoulder of the roadway for this one. Pickup truck crash, and we also have a new problem on the 5 northbound that is just south of Calgrove. We've got some debris out in the number 4 lane. Let's check in with Scott, Southern California Toyota dealers, Jam Cam.
Pretty tough ride here on the 605. There is a crash, South 605 in Santa Fe Springs, right at Telegraph. Made it off to the right shoulder. And because it did get out of lanes, it's getting a little better, but still pretty tough from Whittier Boulevard as you head down toward the 5. Northbound, that's going to be sluggish from the 105 up to the 5 with some additional slowing, basically leaving the city. 60 heading up toward the 10, Denise.
We've got a new problem reported on the 91. This is on the eastbound side of the 91, just before the 241. We've got a stalled car reported out in the number 3 lane. Next report, 6:15, with more traffic reports more often. I'm Denise Fondo, KNX 1070 News Radio.
Pursuit updates. Still Mar Vista area surface streets keeps going through alleyways, driveways behind homes. So again, if you're in the area, just be aware. Next few days, in terms of the forecast, a little bit of a warm up, a lot of 60s today, more 70s ahead of us. So a couple degrees the next couple of days, and then more warming into next week. 60 Sherman Oaks, Hollywood 65, Irvine now 59 degrees.
It's 6:07. Merchants and shoppers on trendy Melrose Avenue are expressing lots of concern. A string of violent crimes in broad daylight has changed people's perception of how safe the area really is.
There have been a number of armed street robberies in just the past 2 weeks where teams of bandits jump out of cars and assault people at gunpoint who are wearing Rolexes and high-end jewelry. Dominic DeLuca's shop, Brooklyn Project, sits on Melrose. The vibe in the area, he says, is decidedly edgy.
It's like the Wild West, and 7 robberies in the last week and a half, 2 weeks. There's been like 3 or 4 killings in the last 2 months on Melrose in the broad daylight.
Isai and his girlfriend were sidewalk shopping. News of the spike in assaults made them wonder whether a change in public safety policy is needed, if not something more.
Like they do in Venice Beach with in their bicycle, just, patrolling. Even in City Walk, other places they have just regular security.
Other merchants say following the riots and the COVID lockdowns, people on the streets are more into simply hanging on the corners and engaging in petty crime, something that's changing this once vibrant area into a nervous street scene. On Melrose Avenue, Pete Demetrio, KNX 1070 News Radio.
Well, the COVID-19 cases in LA County have dropped far enough for elementary schools to reopen. A lot of parents still waiting to find out when they can send their kids back to class.
At least a dozen school districts, including LA Unified, already have an approved COVID-19 safety plan in place and can immediately resume in-person instruction for TK through 6th grade, but they don't have to do so. Public Health Director Barbara Ferrer says it's up to each school district, and the decision to reopen should be made with the support of staff and parents. She adds officials are recommending reopening because they feel it can be done safely. And available data indicates schools are not high-risk settings for COVID-19 transmission if prevention measures are observed. LA County remains in the purple tier, the strictest one in the state's coronavirus reopening system. And students in grades 7 through 12 will not be able to go back to school until we drop into the next level, red.
Even in our best days back in September, we did, after the state had introduced the tiered system, we only qualified for the red tier for 1 short week.
Ferrer says she hopes LA County can get to the red tier this spring.
I'm confident we can get there, but we all have to stay on track and really stay on track, because we do have circulating more infectious variants. And that just means you have to be more careful, not less careful right now.
The LA Unified Teachers Union is raising concerns about more contagious and dangerous variants and wants school staff vaccinated before reopening. Claudia Pescuta, KNX 1070 News Radio.
Probably no parent would argue that distance learning has been a challenge for both for them and their kids. But the thought of students returning to school with the pandemic still going on, that brings differing opinions. Jessica Craven's daughter is a 5th grader at Mount Washington Elementary, and she tells KNX it's been a real struggle.
Partially because of COVID, she is on her 3rd teacher for the year. So her education this year feels almost, honestly, like we're going to have to do the whole year over.
And as badly as she wants her daughter to go back to school, Craven says she'll defer to what the teachers want as far as vaccinations are concerned.
I mean, they have already been heroic this year. I would not ask them to put themselves at physical risk just so my life could be easier.
LA County is expected to make vaccinations available to teachers beginning March 1st. And we're going to be checking the roads again at 6:15 in this chase. We're going to update you on that. He's now on Culver Boulevard, dipping in and out of alleyways. This is happening in Del Rey in LA. We'll get you up to speed. Be careful out there. It's 6:11.
I'm not sure he was actually on the road there for a second.
Yeah.
It was some sort of stairs or sidewalk, went up, popped onto another street. So that's the kind of driving we're seeing with this. We'll have updates here on KNX.
Small business owners don't have the patience for nonsense, especially when it comes to their internet provider. They want the best services for the best price. Simply put, that's Spectrum Business. They give you great value, zero nonsense. Just call 855-872-5588. You'll get fast, reliable internet and phone with no contracts and no hidden fees, all for a price that could cut your bill in half. Spectrum Business. Call today, 855-872-5588.
Delray area, dead-end streets, and Brian Douglas foot bail here.
He is on the edge of McConnell Avenue, and this was a cul-de-sac here. It's a foot bail. Now, he is on the Bayona Creek bike path, or at least making his way to that bike path. That's right on the Bayona Creek. So, Mike, here's the deal. There he is. It looks like he's running south, or I should say west on the Bayona Creek bike path. That's going to put him right underneath the Marina Freeway. If you know anything about this, that bike path eventually ends up at Marina Del Rey, and it looks like he might be. No, there he goes. There was there had to be a hole in the fence.
Too.
Yeah, there's
wondering what's going on.
He's lugging something, a backpack.
Now, what he's doing is he's running up the embankment to the 90 Marina Freeway here. So that's where he is. And I don't know what he can do once he gets on that freeway. You've got, traffic traveling at high speeds here. But that is where he is right now. And really nowhere to run at this point.
He's getting tired. He fell on the ground.
Now he just fell over.
He's on the ground. It looks like he's wearing, if you've seen these guys with the weight packs on running, that's what it looks like with this backpack he is on. He is now crossing, he's now hopping onto the westbound Marina Freeway. So if you're on the 90,
the 90.
Yeah, this is right at Culver Boulevard. So again, if you're on that west or east 90, right about Culver Boulevard, right at the creek, the Bayona Creek here, that's what you're seeing. There he goes. He's crossing the center divider now. He's running on the bridge. So if he keeps going straight, he's going to have to jump into the creek. Although it looks like he's just walking down the center divider.
This is too dangerous right here.
And there he goes. Almost got hit. Almost.
That was very close.
And here he goes. He's on the south side of the Marina Freeway. He's hopping the guardrail, and now he'll go down again the embankment. And this is the wetlands. Now, this is part of the Bayona Creek wetlands. There's nothing here, but basically some swampy areas, some of the wetlands, and the Bayona Creek bike path. So that's about it. And there's really no trees here. So, Mike and Karen, there's no way he can hide.
No, and the night side is on him, so he knows, and we know, and we're thinking even on the other side of the freeway, you're not going to get away. And then B, you risk your life running across the freeway lanes, and now they still know exactly where you are.
Exactly. Now, there's that fellow on the bike who has stopped to actually ask this guy or talk to this guy.
Is he going to take his bike?
He's confronting.
No.
Didn't get it tried.
He did pull on it.
He's still on the bike path here. And again, this is in the Marina Del Rey area, the Bayona Creek.